want to thank everybody who's been with me, my Xbox clan.
When Kobe's going back to play Madison Square Garden, and he's like, hey, hook me up with dinner with Heath Ledger.
Like Russell Westbrook, that was a great feat the other day. I couldn't even tweet it out.
It's Coach Frank Vogel here, full of enthusiasm and positive energy.
Well, first of all, you don't smoke peyote.
And there was a couple games where I was at a hookah lounge. That's the truth. I wasn't smoking hookah, but I was there.
There was a time when the Israelites were wandering in the desert and all of a sudden bread came down from heaven. That's kind of what today feels like to have KCP join.
Welcome back to Bulls vs. Blazers. You can find us as always on Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever the case may be, wherever you get your podcast. You can find us there, YouTube, all of that stuff. Subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/BullsVBlazers. Shout out to the family. I am Sean Highkin. With me, as always, Erik Gundersen.
Yo.
Erik, today is a great day in the NBA. We saw the return of one of the great players of this generation, certainly, who played an integral role in the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the 2016 NBA championship. Even though he was a member of the team that they played in that particular finals. He's still a Cavs franchise legend.
Facts.
Anderson Varejao, back in the league.
Wow.
Back on the Cavs.
I thought that he transitioned to coaching. I thought that was a thing. And then I was just astonished. I was astonished to get the noti that he was coming in back into the league and that the Cavs were signing him. I felt like that's a trying to make Kevin Love not feel so lonely signing. After what Kevin Love did earlier this week, where he flipped out and just was just having a bad time on the court.
The inbound thing that he then had to apologize for. I feel like there's been a lot of that stuff with Kevin Love the last couple of years, different things he's had to apologize for, different things that have just made it clear that he's just not about still being in Cleveland now that LeBron's not there and they're not a contender anymore.
Yeah, and now that Channing Frye's not there and Channing Frye was there for a year.
Richard Jefferson not there.
Yeah. Well, and then Channing went back, remember? Channing's last year in the league was with the Cavs.
Yeah.
And Kevin Love was just there and it sucks and it goes both ways. They pay him a lot of money.
Yeah.
So no one's gonna feel bad for him.
He's also not good anymore, so it's not what does he think it's gonna be a thing where if he gets somewhere else he'd be an all-star again and on a contender? No, yeah, I think it just sucks. I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's can't be in the league. It's just washed.
You think he's not playable in the league if he was on a team that was better?
I don't know how much it would probably be similar to I think his ceiling would be what Blake is doing with the Nets right now.
Okay. I honestly have not watched very much Cleveland this season.
I haven't either since the beginning of the season when Colin Sexton was looking like an all-star.
That's right. Yeah, when we were talking about Colin Sexton Most Improved Player Award, we were really driving that train for 3 weeks.
So I have 2 Anderson Varejao facts for you.
Okay.
Fact number 1. As I mentioned before, he was on the Warriors for the second half of that season in 2016, and it was played against the Cavs in that final series. He was on the Warriors the following year, played 14 games, and was waived in February. I have no memory of him being on the first Durant Warriors team.
No, not at all. I have zero memory of that.
I just looked that up on Basketball Reference, and I was just what?
I guess because now that I think about it, it makes sense because they had to get rid of Bogut, and they got rid of Ezeli. They let Festus Ezeli walk too and Ezeli had this knee thing that he couldn't play.
I read something a month ago that Festus Ezeli is trying to make a comeback too.
He did get this was years ago, but he did get some kind of really
cadaver meniscus or some shit.
Yeah, he got a transplant. He got a meniscus transplant. and was trying to play with a new meniscus.
It really is 2015 again, though. If we're talking about Festus Ezeli, we're talking about Anderson Varejao. And by the way, the other Anderson Varejao fact I have for you. As of this second, as of right now, as of the time that we are recording this, on April 30th, 2021, he is still on the Portland Trail Blazers payroll. He is still collecting checks from the Paul Allen, Jody Allen estate.
Which was, what was the trade again? It was like
they got a first. It was like it was a thing. It was like Channing Frye ended up being like getting traded from Orlando to Cleveland. I was literally just on Basketball Reference looking this up.
Yeah, no, it was some kind of tax move where they were able to cut Brendan Haywood's contract.
Right.
And that was how, but they had to eat Varejao's deal, I want to say. Or no, I think that might have been a separate deal.
I don't believe Brandon Haywood was involved in this one.
Yeah, this is a different deal now.
I'm going to actually pull this up on Basketball Reference because I was just looking at this earlier.
Wait. So, no, because didn't Varejao join the Warriors after getting waived by the Blazers is what happened. That's what happened. Okay.
By the way, I'm searching Anderson Varejao on Basketball Reference, and his name is not bolded. His name, because like he's usually, you know how it's bolded when it's like a still active player. They said he played from 2005 to 2017, which I just like. How is he now like back in the? Oh, hey,
has he been playing in Brazil? I mean, he has.
He did play in Brazil. 35, 27, 18, and then 18, 19. He played in Brazil. Good for him.
Well, and I think he was. I think he played in the World Cup. I want to say.
Maybe.
I want to say he played in the World Cup, and he was good.
Brendan Haywood was not involved in the trade. I'm looking at this right now.
Okay, so that Brendan Haywood trade was like a year later or 2 years later.
He was traded by the Cavs with a 2018 first-round pick that Mo Wagner was later selected. I don't remember how that got to the Lakers, but whatever.
Okay.
To the Portland Trail Blazers, the Cavs traded Jared Cunningham, Beavers legend, to the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic traded Channing Frye to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Blazers traded a 2020 second-round pick. Vernon Carey Jr. was later selected to the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And how did that Mo Wagner pick get from the Blazers to the Lakers like that?
Was that? Well, did Portland trade one of those picks to someone else to like
Denver
Brooklyn?
In the Nurkic trade? Maybe.
To Denver in the Nurkic trade, or maybe they traded it to Brooklyn in the Plumlee trade.
Plumlee was,
or no, not the Plumlee trade.
That was
the Nicholson Crab trade.
Which, by the way, Andrew Nicholson,
because the Nicholson Crab trade, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like because they had to give up something. I remember to get off that, but like, yeah, I mean, this is so deep and deep. This is deep cap. Transactional Anderson Varejao talk. I mean, I'm good on Anderson Varejao talk. I feel like
I just felt like he should be mentioned.
Shout out to his family.
Shout out to his family getting another paycheck. He's still collecting the Paul Allen paycheck. Now he's collecting another paycheck from Dan Gilbert. This is fantastic.
He's got his income from. Yeah.
Diversifying his income streams.
Exactly. Anderson Varejao, mogul talk.
LeBron also came back tonight.
And they lost, which was... I mean, LeBron was rusty. I mean, he
looked pretty good, actually.
I mean, he looked good, but yes, he did. But he also had 5 turnovers, and a lot of them were kind of shitty. And a couple of them came in the fourth quarter, when they really needed him to play well, and he had a couple bad passes here and there. And I mean, I thought he did connect with Drummond a couple times, which was tight, for them, which is tight for Drummond because he hasn't really looked that good.
LeBron is just going to make everybody look so like the whole Drummond thing. We've been talking about how that's kind of a disaster for the Lakers so far. Having LeBron to like throw lobs to him is just going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's just it was already so easy. Like the worst minutes for Drummond were when LeBron was off the court, and that's totally predictable, and that's what everyone was like everyone was saying that, from, Dave McMiniman on ESPN to us to everyone on Twitter is like, okay, well, Drummond, except for the fiercest Drummond hater was like, this guy sucks so much and LeBron can't save this guy. But like LeBron, everyone's like, let's wait and see what happens with LeBron. And Drummond got a bunch of easier buckets tonight. I just thought, tonight they lost it because, they had a lot of turnovers, definitely. Their offense was bad, I thought, when LeBron was off the court in the fourth quarter. And the Kings, they scrapped. They played really hard. It was a bunch of young guys. They didn't have Barnes. They didn't have De'Aaron Fox. It was a lot of Tyrese Halliburton and Rashawn Holmes. And it was funny. I actually was when I was watching the game, I was like, when Andre Drummond was going for a floater, I was like, oh, he thinks he's Rashawn Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes, much more useful NBA player than Andre Drummond at this point.
Yeah, and a way better floater. Not even close. Like, and it was pretty funny to see Rashawn Holmes just like he was making the big plays down the stretch, and also too, it was kind of fun to see like Buddy Hield like really taking it personally, and also the Kings, like I in all of the posts that I wrote about the game, I think I mentioned that the Kings have the worst defense in the league, and and they do, and everyone mentions it when they talk about the Kings, but like they really did not want to let Anthony Davis beat them. Like they were like fronting him in the post. They were being super aggressive, trying to deny him the ball in places where he likes to catch it. And I thought that was, I want to commend them for a really, great effort after losing by nearly 50 the other night. And that's who they are also, by the way. That's
losing by 50 and then being competitive against a good team.
Yeah. And then beating a good team even. Their last 3 games has literally been that. They beat the Mavs at home. Then they get beat by 49 points by the Jazz. And the Jazz also looked like shit tonight. We'll get to that. But then they beat the Lakers tonight in LeBron's first game back. It was really just, it was the last, that's just so Sacramento. They like, and they're going to lose their next game probably. And I don't even know who they're playing, but I'm just willing to bet that they're going to lose just because that's who they are.
Portland-Sacramento Alliance, as you have referred to it, is strong.
Very strong. Very strong. Very strong. It dates back to really to the Kings' heyday.
Oh, the Kings, by the way, their next game is against the Mavericks. That's another Portland-Sacramento Alliance game.
Well, yeah. So maybe they'll get hot for that one. But it's like, when the Kings were really great in the early 2000s, Jeff Petrie was their GM, Blazers legend, like actual Blazers legend.
Yeah, the franchise's first ever draft pick.
Yeah, and then Rick Adelman, one of the Blazers' best head coaches, yep, and one of the most successful head coaches in NBA history, was the head coach of the Kings and is their only coach that ever took them to the fucking playoffs. And so I say this, the Portland-Sacramento Alliance, I'm not just, and obviously they have Blazers legends Mo Harkless and Hassan Whiteside on the team. Even though Whiteside, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know if he's hurt or whatever. Because he didn't play tonight, so I don't know.
Harry Giles Kings legend Harry Giles getting some run tonight in the Blazers game.
Picking up a tech in garbage time. Love the energy.
King shit right there.
Oh, love it. Literal Kings shit, if you will. Yeah.
Blazers are back, by the way.
The Blazers are back. Yeah. I guess we should talk about the Blazers
again.
Winning the title.
See Red Erik.
Dialogue.
Firing all cylinders.
This is why we stay positive, people. This is why we stay optimistic and believe in the best in teams and people. Not really. I've just, it felt great to watch. Nurkic, ever since I called him and said on Twitter that when he doesn't score, he goes from being the beast to an overpaid Daniel Tice. His scoring average is last game. After last game, it was 15 and 12, and he had another 20 and 10 tonight. So I'm willing to the scoring average definitely went up. And so I'm just, I'm here to say you're welcome, Blazers fans.
Nurkic I don't want to confirm that Nurkic is a Patreon listener, but just, who's to say? Who's to say if he is or not?
Yeah.
We know Cardi B is a subscriber. Stranger things have happened.
That's true. Cardi B is a subscriber, follower. She subscribes to the Blazer Banter OnlyFans.
Friend of the program.
But it really tonight was a solid win, another blowout victory, which the Blazers have not had a lot of this season.
Three blowouts in a row against decent teams.
Yeah, like what in the world is happening? Like, I mean, they obviously
after the week that they had before.
Yeah, where they lost they lost 4 games, they lost 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row by a total of 17 points.
Five in a row. 4 of them were to good teams. One of them was to Charlotte without any of their good players, which was just insane.
That was terrible. Yeah.
And then, they lose to the Clippers, they lose to the Nuggets. I was not at either of those games because I was recovering from my second David Guetta concert.
Hell yeah.
And then the 2 Memphis losses were bad.
Yeah, because their execution at the end of the games was terrible, and also just the vibes, like Dylan Brooks just getting in their face and just like shitting on them so hard, and it just felt. I mean, I wasn't at either one of those games, but watching them on TV, it just felt so completely opposite worlds. Like the Grizzlies are on the up and up, and they're young, and they have don't really have any expectations. And Dan Devine wrote a great thing about this on The Ringer this week, just about that feeling, and that it's just how the life cycle of the NBA goes. It's like the Grizzlies, being that this is Ja's second year, they get to be this free, unencumbered team without any expectations and get to play free and shit. And Portland, it seemed like was. Were playing well, but they just weren't playing well enough to win. And it just felt like they were just the weight of the expectation was just, crushing their soul. And it was just that's how that whole week felt. And then, they win by 40 against the Pacers or whatever it was, they went up by 40 in that game. They get up a 30-point lead against the Grizzlies. And honestly, this Nets game was tight for a while, but then the third quarter, I mean, Dame got hot for the first time in a minute. And I think also too is because I think having Nurk be able to carry the load, and also to have Norm carry shuttle the ball up the floor, and just that mere act, not to mention the fact that he gets to the basket and gets to the rim, but the fact that he can push the ball up the floor so Dame doesn't have to, that's the type of stuff you need to do to make sure that Dame is okay, because that's a lot of what this Chris Haynes story was about, was that he's banged up.
So I want to talk about kind of the Dame discourse of the last, let's say, week or so.
Uh-huh.
Because I was at the second Memphis game, and after the game, Dame was asked, I forget who asked it was either Jason or Dwight, it was one of the beat writers, asked Dame if he thought the Blazers could flip a switch. And he said, and basically what he said was, no, I don't think we can flip a switch. We're not the Brooklyn Nets who can just come in and having never played together and just immediately, that was kind of the gist of the quote. I tweet that quote out, and it just blows up.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, it was so ridiculous. And there was so much of this false equivalency, like making it about Paul George also, or making it about Russell Westbrook.
Right.
And stuff.
Then this morning, the aforementioned Chris Haynes column came out, and I mean, I think just because it's Dame even mentioned this tonight after the game on the Zoom, it's kind of not really a secret that Chris and Dame have a relationship, and they've been tight in the past, and Chris has kind of had a finger on the pulse of what's going on in Dame world. And of course, as soon as this thing comes out, immediately the dialogue becomes, oh, well, Dame is just taking shots at his teammates behind the scenes. Like, this is like not be like, it's just the whole, I feel like the whole like general public sentiment on Dame has flipped in the last week from being, the guy that everybody likes to being a guy that everybody's kind of annoyed by.
Yeah, because there's this, I think he's been so well liked for so long, and this just happens in any walk of life, I think. He's been so well liked for so long that you can't help but not have a bunch of people that start to resent you because of that. Like, that's, and it's a lot of people that obviously don't know Dame, and and they just see him getting the praise, or maybe they're like a Russell Westbrook fan, or they're a Paul George fan, or a Thunder fan, or a Clippers fan, or a Nuggets fan. There's there's a lot of fan bases that probably that see Dame and have lost to Dame in the postseason, and probably feel like it was a fluke, or feel like it was bullshit or something, and they just feel like because he went to a small school. I mean, I see this all the time. Like, there was a whole lot of discourse about how, like, because he went to a small school, that he gets treated with kid gloves just because it's such a great story. And it's like,
I don't think that's the case.
No, he just beat those motherfuckers. I'm sorry. Why is it so? Why do we have to Why is it so hard to just get to that point? Paul George, is the easy one that everyone comes back to, and Russell Westbrook. Like, he played them already in the playoffs. He beat them in 5 games. They did not even have Nurkic. Like, come on. Like, I'm all up, and no one's even saying that, like, Dame is better all time than Chris Paul, or Dame, the
Chris Paul Russell Westbrook dialogue was or not Chris Paul Russell Westbrook. The Chris Paul, like, there was some Chris Paul dialogues happening this week.
What were they? I missed. Please enlighten me.
Somebody put on their all-time list. I don't have it in front of me, but somebody put on their all-time list, like, the greatest point guards of all time, that had Chris Paul ahead of Isaiah Thomas, and then of course a lot of, like, the people who are, like, defending Isaiah Thomas are got mad about that, and then somebody also said, like, then there was, like, that led into, like, an Isaiah Thomas versus Allen Iverson career discourse.
God.
That led it just nobody a whole lot of discourses.
Nobody has a worse discourse than Allen Iverson. I in terms of he has a pretty bad historical discourse when people try to dissect how he was inefficient, and it's like, yeah, I know.
I can think of a couple players with worse discourses than Allen Iverson.
That's true. I just think Iverson has one of my least favorite discourses, I would say, because there is a certain sect of basketball analytics people that will shit on him because his seasons were not that efficient. And it's like, okay, but, like, his MVP season was great, and he was undersized his whole career, and he was a maniac steals guy and defender slasher. And also, like, he meant so much more than just his stats to a lot of people. Like, and just, like, I mean, it was, yeah, I hate it when we people belittle Iverson. That's just like I hate that. It's one of my least favorite things about about basketball analytics whenever that does happen.
Did you see Mark Berman of the New York Post today?
Oh yes, I saw him smell blood.
Report that the Knicks are just waiting for their chance to pry Damian Lillard away from Portland, but they don't want to give up Obi Toppin.
Mm-hmm. Or yeah, which is Obi Toppin, who barely plays for the Knicks. They can't.
So good.
Oh, that was a Berman special.
I love Berman. Like, Berman's a good dude. I actually know him pretty well. Like every single, like, that's like, he writes that column like 3 times
every year.
Whatever star is, like, team is like experiencing some troubles.
I'm pretty sure he's written it about Dame like multiple times.
Oh yeah, I mean he's written he's written that about Dame. He's also written like I'm pretty sure he's written that about Neil Olshey also.
Yes, he has. He mentioned Olshey when the Knicks were
looking for a team president.
Yeah, he mentioned Olshey. I mean, that was obviously. I mean, Olshey is from Queens. Of course, that was his dream job. Anyway,
what do you think is going to happen with Neil this offseason? Do you think anything's going to? I mean, because I think we pretty much know Stotts is gone. The Haynes column is the first time in 8 years or whatever that I've ever thought there was a real possibility CJ would be traded.
Yeah.
Because Neil has always just like his attitude has always been just like don't even bother calling about CJ. He's been like as untouchable as Dame. Like he values CJ equally to Dame because by the time he took the job in 2012, the scouting department had already kind of done most of the work on Dame, and Neil could actually take the credit on CJ. So he has valued CJ high, like as high as Dame, basically.
No, Dame wasn't a secret. Like that's one of
he can't take credit for Dame like he can for CJ.
Yeah, like that's a thing where like everybody who was a basketball scouting person by the time that Dame's draft came around knew about Dame. It wasn't it wasn't a shock that he went when he went, and Olshey got the job like right before the draft. So like it wasn't like he was going to do a whole lot. So yeah, I totally agree with you about the pride that Olshey has in drafting CJ. I think with Paul George or with Jimmy Butler, which I think are the two hypotheticals that a lot of people bring up, I think those are the most reasonable ones that people bring up in terms of missed opportunities, maybe to potentially get another star player, a guy that maybe would have fit better with the team. Because, you would have gotten a defensive superstar on top of them being good offensive player, great offensive players. But I think that the window at this point, though, like, I feel like the window on getting a guy that's a better fit for the team that actually helps the team win more, I kind of wonder if that's already passed.
I think you're probably right about that. I don't see what the CJ trade is at this point that is going to be.
It was Paul George and Jimmy Butler.
I think it might end up being a case where like they're going to try it, and I don't know who the player is that would be coming back, but they're going to trade him for something. And it's going to be something where, it happens and people are excited about it at the time because whoever they get is going to be like, oh, this seems like I literally do not have any clue off the top of my head who the player would be. I don't have a name to throw at you. But whoever it is, it's going to be somebody that people are like excited about in the short term. It's going to end up not being a great fit. It's going to end up being just like not super aligned.
And then Dame is going to want to leave.
And then that's going to lead to, that's what that's going to lead to.
Yeah, see, that's the type of thing about the CJ trade and the trade CJ dialogue that I always come back to is this so one of the conversations or a conversation that I have with a friend of mine, we always talk about this, and I always say, okay, what's the trade? And the two that he has come back to me with that he thinks are the best ones that he thinks are gettable,
okay, are
Pascal Siakam or Tobias Harris.
Ooh.
Do you think either one of those guys is really an upgrade to CJ McCollum?
You know what? I might.
Would you do Siakam?
I might be able to be talked into that.
To Siakam.
Out of those two options, I think Siakam is the much more likely. Like, he's younger, and I feel like he's much more likely to just need it. Like this year has been such just hell for the Devil Raptors. I feel like if you bring him into an environment like Portland, like with Dame and all this, I think that would especially if other parts of the vision of the agenda that were laid out on the Patreon episodes, shout out to the family, were to come to pass.
Yeah, like
I could see it. That's the that actually I hadn't thought of that. That actually makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but here's the problem. does Toronto want to do that? I mean, they have OG. They're probably going to want to pay OG, but they probably want to pay
OG.
Oh, they just paid OG. They have OG, but they probably want to do OG and Pascal together. And they already have Freddie, who is a really good shot creating guard. They could use CJ, but I guess it's like whoever is in charge, like, does Bobby Webster want to do that?
I don't know.
I
think that's interesting.
But that's the type that I think is more the type of deal, like a guy who has maybe been an all-star once or is like a borderline all-star,
most improved player.
Yeah, most improved player.
He's a two-time
type
all-star, actually. Former
Siakam?
all-star starter, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This is a quote from Kyle Goon at the Orange County Register. LeBron says the time he's put into rehabbing and recovering over the last 6 weeks has been a lot more than he's been sleeping. He said he wishes he could let people see the hours he's logged. Now, if only he had some kind of media company or other way of, documentary crew, other way of doing that.
Damn, Bron.
If only LeBron actually had ways of broadcasting things to people.
Damn, Bron, that's too bad that you can't show us LeBron.
Cancel culture is keeping LeBron from really showing us how much work he's been putting in over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I love that. I love it. It is that's going to be, I already wrote my last post and I'm actually not going to go do this, but if I was going to write another post, it would be LeBron blames cancel culture or is cancel culture to blame for LeBron not showing us
cancel culture
his training resume? Cancel. Yeah,
LeBron needs to start talking about cancel culture just so that Clay Travis or whoever gets tricked into suddenly becoming a big LeBron supporter.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Speaking of LeBron, I started reading Bubble Ball.
I haven't started reading it yet. I got it. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I started reading Bubble Ball, Ben Golliver's great book about the NBA and the
OG friend of both of ours, literally going back 10 years.
Yeah, and also a little bit of a marker of what it was like to, at least in the first couple of pages, I can definitely say what it was like to live through the corona, breaking out, what it felt like, he does a really good job of yes, it's about the bubble, but that he also does a really good job of understanding why the bubble had to, of getting maybe a reader who reads this, 20 years from now and who wasn't alive during the bubble, gives them a great idea of why it had to happen.
It's going to be so weird. I mean, I'm going to start reading the book pretty soon. It's going to be so weird to read a book that takes place entirely within the last year of a thing that we're not completely out of yet.
Right. Well, dude, I watched that documentary on HBO that Chris Paul produced. It was called The Day That Sports Stood Still.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of this stuff. Every outlet, ESPN, Athletic, all of these outlets did the 1 year retrospective of the day that sports shut down
of the Rudy Gobert day. Yeah,
right. There's been all these documentaries. I'm sure all of them were very well produced and well put together. I'm sure that a lot of people worked very hard on them, and I'm sure that if you're into that sort of thing, they were very good. it's the same thing with any kind of Trump retrospertive or any of these tell-alls that are coming out about the Trump administration. I'm good. I don't need to be reading retrospectives.
Well, yeah, it's like a 9/11.
Right. It's just I'm sure you did a very good job with your documentary, but I'm good. I don't need that.
Right, exactly. No, I respect that and I feel that. I watched it just because I was just a part of me. I mean, it was a year ago now. It was over a year ago now. It also does feel like it was just the other day.
Right.
And that's, I think, another one of the things about this NBA season that I think feels so shitty for everybody involved is that it just does feel like a continuation of last season.
But without any of like the cool, unique stuff from the bubble of the all of the teams are in one place and they're playing games in the gym one after the other. And, they have this Disney campus and just reading all these stories about like the referees. This is another Gulliver story. The referees playing pickleball and like, there's like some quite quirky, like charming stuff about the bubble. This is just like all of the whack, COVID safety protocols are like the thing that everybody's worried about aspects of last season without any of like the cool parts of the bubble. Yeah,
exactly. They have like all the COVID testing. Everyone's, they are doing the travel, but they can't go out. Some people have the vaccine. Some teams have the vaccine. Some teams don't. It just is. It's all bad. It's all kind of crappy, and it was.
Oh, speaking of the vaccine, I have another quote for you.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is from last night. I'm trying to find this. This is I know who the person who tweeted this is Jace Frederick, who is the Timberwolves beat writer for the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
I did see that Big Ant got the vaccine. Anthony Edwards.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, that's great. I didn't see that. So this is from Jace Frederick.
Okay.
Cat on the Timberwolves post-game victory shots. We put the tequila down and got COVID vaccines. I think it's important for all of us to get vaccinated if we want to see life come back to normal. We got to make a sacrifice and make the effort to go out and get the vaccine.
Hell yeah.
We put down the tequila shots and got the vaccine.
Hey, and that's a message to you, listener.
Or to other certain NBA players, maybe some like veteran bench warmers on the Lakers who are all about doing their own research.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God, I forgot about that. That Jared Dudley's about doing his own research still.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, the dude who's like lost almost his entire family to COVID, is saying, "Hey, get the vaccine."
Yeah, like, maybe go get it. Yeah, I know.
Maybe go to the David Guetta concert.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of the Timberwolves,
maybe Kent Bazemore will get the vaccine then too.
By the way, so speaking of the Timberwolves, I think we've seen like a shift in the balance of power in the last 48 hours. A shift in the universe.
For rookie of the year?
No. I don't even care about that. A shift in the vibes.
Okay.
It seemed like there was going to be a shift in the vibes in favor of Minnesota because there was a report that Alex Rodriguez, the new owner of the Timberwolves to be, and his ex-fiancée, Jennifer Lopez, were spotted together.
Yes.
And it was seen as maybe Anthony Edwards was the catalyst for that. And like, this seemed like the vibes were just trending in the right direction for the Timberwolves, just all over the place. Today, there was a report. I believe this was also in TMZ. I don't know for sure. I believe this was also
the venerable TMZ.
Yeah, I mean, for this stuff, they are.
I mean, listen, guys. They might not be your favorite, but they usually get it right.
Right. But apparently, Jennifer Lopez today or yesterday or whenever this was posted was spotted with another of her ex-fiancés, Ben Affleck.
Uh-oh.
Well-known Boston partisan.
Wow.
And what happened tonight?
Jason Tatum scored 60 points.
Jason Tatum scores 60 points. The Celtics come back from down 30 to beat San Antonio in overtime. I think we're going from the Timberwolves have the brightest future in the league and Anthony Edwards is a future Hall of Famer to the Celtics are going to win the title.
And Jason Tatum is going to be the first 19-year-old to win NBA Finals MVP.
This is true. Yeah, he's a young 19 too. That's the part nobody talks about.
Exactly.
So, just I felt
congratulations to Jason Tatum for being the youngest person to score 60 points.
Yeah.
He just continuously, it seems like he gets smaller and bigger at the same time.
And younger.
Yeah. It is.
He was a young 19 when I started talking about him on this podcast. He's actually 17 now. By the end of this episode, he's going to be 12.
It really is. The way he ages is quite remarkable. But Tatum 60 points in OT. also brutal loss for San Antonio.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, they really had a great gutsy win at Washington this week, and they almost had this game, and I think they had 73 points at halftime, and they really should have won this game. I mean, they were up by 32 points. I mean, they should have won this game, and it's just a brutal loss. Like, I think of all the games tonight, I'm thinking about all the teams that won and lost. I think San Antonio and the Lakers, they had, I think, the worst losses of anybody because, like, okay, LeBron came back tonight. I don't even think we talked about this really, but like
we talked about LeBron coming back.
But did we talk about the play-in though? Like how it's like actually real now that like the Lakers could be in it?
I've been wanting this for so long.
It's real now.
Oh my god, dude! I'm looking at the standings.
The Blazers are one game. The Blazers are one game behind them, and they play next Friday for the tiebreaker in Portland. And so Portland wins that game. They have the tiebreaker, and they make up a game. So like the Lakers are suddenly like LeBron coming back. It was great for content and all that stuff, but he also came back because this shit it's real now because Portland has gotten their shit together.
I am so excited for the possibility of the Lakers in the play-in. That's going to be amazing if that happens. That's going to be like the greatest team. Like you're going to have. I'm looking like at this as of right now. I figure I would think they would beat Memphis in the first one, and then you might have like a LeBron Steph one game winner take all like situation.
Which would be amazing.
Which would be awesome.
Well, then here's the other aspect though too, is like, okay, let's say they get 7 and they win and they advance.
The Warriors, by the way, are only a game and a half out of 8. So they could get to 8 and the Lakers get to 7 then.
It does feel there was a lot of conspiracy talk tonight that the Jazz are ducking the Lakers bracket and that they did not put their best foot forward in their showdown against Phoenix tonight.
That would not be a very respectable thing to do.
But that is some type of shit that they do. Like they are the classic. Them and Denver both love to try and create their bracket way before.
Yeah, Portland, the Blazers. Terry did that with that Sacramento game a couple of years ago.
I mean, that's true. That's true. And it didn't work.
It backfired, but it also worked out because
exactly. You have to trust Anthony Simons, which I think is something.
Shout out to Dan Marang's family, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Dan Marang and his family. I mean, this has been his
this is
Western
his
Conference. This is his championship, his conference finals. Like it's Simons he's shooting the ball well. He's making shots. But what I was saying about the Denver and Utah, and mostly Utah, was they could be doing all this jockeying to avoid the Lakers bracket and then potentially end up playing the Lakers in the first round because of their bullshit. Like
that would be
this is the type of stuff, like it's funny like how it happens like this, the type of stuff that happens when you play with the game. But like if like they're trying to be all cute and not try to play the Lakers in the second round, but if they fall to 2 and the Lakers all of a sudden fall to 7, they're going to have to play them in round 1. And like, that is just like, so that would be so funny. And
I would hate to see that personally.
Oh my God. And I just think it's a really interesting subplot to these last 3 weeks, basically, because that's what it is, right? Or last 2 weeks.
Something like that.
It's like last 2.5 weeks ish. So it's just these teams doing these, making these plays, but like also, things happen like tonight where Sacramento beats the Lakers, and now all of a sudden the Lakers are in serious danger of falling into the play-in, which I mean would be mwah. And also, dude, this Drummond thing, good. The Drummond thing, I do think that he's gonna be better with LeBron. He was better with LeBron tonight.
Shout out to Sopan Dab and his family.
I do think there's a real conversation to be had about Marc Gasol and like how crucial it is that Drummond is the star. Drummond feels like it should be him being the backup center. And Drummond should be a guy that's an energy bug off the bench. And
basically the Dwight role from last
Yes, exactly. He should be the Dwight guy. And then maybe if you play Jokic in the second round and you need someone to pest Jokic all over the court, you put Drummond and start him. But it seems like in every other context, they're way better with Marc Gasol.
By the way, the Lakers' schedule in the next week.
What is
They've got Toronto, which, Toronto is trying to fight for a play-in spot.
Yes.
Then they've got Denver. Then they've got the Clippers before Portland.
Wow. I mean,
so
that's a tough schedule. I mean, and is that a back-to-back with the Portland and Denver?
Portland and Clippers is a back-to-back.
Portland Clippers. So
Clippers Thursday, Portland Friday.
Okay. I mean, that's...
Do you think LeBron's going to sit on a back-to-back?
I think he might. Which would suck for going to the game.
God, that's so annoying.
I mean, actually, I don't think he would sit. LeBron doesn't sit back-to-backs. He doesn't...
But he's coming off of this...
But he didn't play... He played 32 minutes tonight, man.
I guess.
I mean, I know that he just got hurt and he's 36. But...
Do you know that he's currently in year 18? Do you know that?
Yes.
He's almost as old as Jason Tatum. His career is almost a young 19.
That's true. I mean, next year his career will be as old as Jason Tatum. But he got hurt on a freak accident and someone landing into his leg.
Right. And LeBron's fine.
He's fine. And really, the only thing I can say bad about his game tonight, like, he did look good. He moved well. I thought his defense was good. I thought he played a good game. He's just rusty. Like, he's just not doing the finer LeBron things yet. And that's what he just has to play, because he hasn't played real basketball. And so
would LeBron winning the title out of the play-in be more or less impressive than coming back from down 3-1 against the Warriors?
Less. Especially in the COVID season where teams don't have fans.
Yeah,
really.
That was just a thought. And by the way, I want to bring up something else. Speaking of the Lakers, you brought this up on our locker room the other night.
Yes. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the locker room.
Shout out to locker room. Which every Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, your boy. But you brought up the idea that the Lakers are, and we can transition this into a little bit of Top Shot Corner. The Lakers are the only team out of the contenders, out of the, Brooklyn, Philly, Utah, Milwaukee, whoever, all the, actual Phoenix, the good teams. None of their players are listed on the Top Shot website with official Top Shot accounts and collections as certified ballers. And you and I think that LeBron might have just shut that down.
I do. I do think that LeBron, doesn't. I think LeBron knows that NFTs are a thing on your phone, and maybe he's just like, guys.
Is this a part of Zero Dark 3023?
Yeah, maybe he's just like, guys, stop being on your phone, because he does have a point. I mean, we talked about this on the locker room, but there's an article that was written about it by Tom Haberstroh a couple years ago on ESPN.com, and it's still true. NBA players, maybe even more so than the average person, are addicted to their phones. And they're on them all the time, and they're always on the road. They're usually always alone, so they're always on there. So Top Shot is just another thing to take their time and money into. And that's time you could be spending, scouting your opponent. And LeBron's like, hey man, let me get that screen time for greatness. And I could totally see, I could hear LeBron telling Kyle Kuzma that shit.
Just to be like, hey, look, man, the NFT shit is like not as.
Yeah, just like don't. Like, I know you lost your China deal when the whole Daryl Morey thing happened, Kuz, but we'll get you back.
Right. Like, I also want to point out that the Warriors got blown out the other night against Dallas. The same day that they announced that they were going to be the first NBA team to issue an official NFT. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Bad vibes. Bad
Terrible
vibes. Bad vibes.
I was watching a little bit of the NFL draft last night.
Yes, I was too. I don't
know anything about football. I just want to quickly say shout out to the families of all of my friends in Chicago. They're all super fired up about Justin Fields. Seems like the Bears actually did a smart thing for once. So shout out to their families.
That's the impression I got as well. I mean, I have seen Justin Fields play like once, and he was great. So,
so I have a friend who's a Giants fan, and he was very upset that the Eagles traded up to draft Devontae Smith, the receiver out of Alabama, who's supposed to be the best receiver in the draft.
Right. He's the first receiver to win the Heisman Trophy in like 40 years.
Right. I mean, I don't know anything. I literally have not watched a second of football this year, so I don't.
Right. I'm just like, I mean, that's a pretty easy feat to understand.
Sure. But so my friend who's a Giants fan was really upset that the Giants, who apparently need a receiver, missed out on this guy. But then, about an hour later, I saw that Devontae Smith has launched his own official NFT called Smitty Coin. And I just had to text my friend and just be like, dude, you guys dodged a bullet.
Damn.
Smitty Coin.
Damn. Yeah.
I'm going to... You add Smitty Coin to your profile next to Dogecoin, next to the Jalen Suggs NFT thing
next
for his
to
draft. Portugal the Man Coin.
Portugal the Man Coin.
We're on the family, so we're moving on. Or not? We're not on the family, so we're moving on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, by the way, did you see this new thing that Top Shot is doing? The trade tickets. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna explain this concept to you, and I actually am kind of into this. Like, I'm actually like really annoyed that this is like maybe gonna be something that I'm gonna be like this might like suck me back in. But,
oh man, just when you thought you were out,
just like The Godfather, yeah,
yeah, just like Godfather Part 3, yeah, it's just great.
The Mafia and NBA Top Shot. Okay, I'm trying to find this. Trade tickets. Hold on, I'm trying to find this explanation.
This is great. This is great radio.
Great content here. Absolutely fantastic content.
Fantastic content.
This is from the Top Shot blog. Ever open a pack and pull a moment or two from a team or player that isn't your cup of tea? 2 question marks. Fear not. We are excited to preview a new feature to further provide utility for all of your moments, especially those that just don't float your boat. Why is this like a sex toy, like wording, like the copy?
Yeah, it's like we don't want to yuck your yum. Like is that what's going to be next?
We don't want to kink. We don't want to kink shame you. Maybe you do want this Eric Pascal moment that you got in the pack.
Yeah. Maybe you really wanted this Nasri.
We will be adding a new feature to the Top Shot ecosystem in the next few months that'll make collecting even more compelling and dynamic long term.
Okay.
Introducing trade tickets. As we've hinted in the past, we've been developing an avenue for collectors to trade in moments for something new. Trade tickets. Each moment will be worth exactly 1 trade ticket, and collectors will be able to use trade tickets to acquire exclusive packs that are only available with trade tickets. Whether it's a common, rare, or legendary moment from your collection, all will be exchangeable for a single identical trade ticket. When you receive the moment in a pack, or you purchase it on the marketplace, they will all be identical. Trading in your moments will be the only way to obtain trade tickets, as they will not be sold by us nor transferable between collectors. And then it goes on to talk about how there's going to be like some Series 1 packs that you're going to only be able to get. Like Series 1 is like the first season stuff, so it's all like the super valuable shit. You can only get those if you have trade tickets. So basically, the next time you get a pack like I got yesterday in the pre-order, where you get like an Eric Pascal and like Rudy Gay or whatever, instead of just selling them for the low ask to make back your money on the pack, what they want you to do is just give them back to them for these trade tickets so that maybe you will then get... Basically, you can trade in your shitty moments for lottery tickets in order to maybe get one of these packs with, like, these older, like, moments that are rare and like, have...
Here's the thing, though. Those shitty moments effectively already are lottery tickets in the sense that anytime that there's a challenge on Top Shot, your $5 moment that sucks could be worth $30 to $80. Like last week, TJ McConnell was going for $80.
I didn't realize Curtis Harris was buying Top Shots now.
Yeah, everyone loves TJ McConnell.
Curtis like a special. Like I've never seen a person love a player more than TJ McConnell than Curtis Harris loves TJ.
I was listening to the Spinsters podcast, and they were going off about how TJ McConnell is just indispensable for the Pacers and how great he is.
He does the little things. He does the most with his limited natural ability.
I mean, his numbers are like his numbers paint him as like, you know, the poor man, like the 6-man underground John Stockton, where TJ
McConnell's good.
He just gets a bunch of steals and assists.
Right.
Like he just racks up those numbers, and he is not a bad shooter. Like you can't just leave him open. So like he's a good player. Yeah, I mean like I like.
Did you sell a TJ McConnell for $80, or did you buy a TJ McConnell?
No, I didn't sell one, but a friend of mine
did. You buy one?
I did not, but a friend of mine did because he was doing the challenge, and he got one for like $40, and then like an hour later the price was like $80 because it was part of a challenge.
Is this? I'm going to look up how much it is right now. Is this part of the 30? Is this the $35K one?
It was. It's not the same anymore because this challenge is over. The challenge that involved TJ McConnell is over. So like now there's a new challenge with a bunch of cards.
TJ McConnell, low ask, $9 right now.
So it was $80 last week.
I sold an Eric Bledsoe for like $90 during the heyday because it was part of one of the Cool Cats challenges.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I did that with a Joe Ingles with the challenge that there was a TJ McConnell that TJ McConnell was part of. I sold a Joe Ingles for $31 that I had bought on the marketplace for $5. And it's just like that's. I mean, honestly, it's the same thing. I mean, it's just like you're just waiting for the lottery the ticket thing. It's basically just like you're basically just exchanging the shit card and the potential that it could be worth more money in cash for the potential that you could score like a rare moment or a rare pack via these ticket things.
You hate to see it, but I think I might actually be in on this. I might, like, the next time I get it, like, a pack and it just get, like, all garbage. I might just do that. I might just, like, try this out.
There you go. Well, Sean tries trade tickets on Top Shot corner I think we have...
Just when I thought I was out.
I know. Is there anything else around the league that we need to touch on? I mean, the Suns getting the number 1 seed makes me want to revisit the MVP dialogue for Chris Paul.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to get...
I don't think he is either, just because Jokic's like season is so statistically unique.
Although, LeBron is back now. If they avoid the play-in, if the Lakers now the goalposts have now moved, if the Lakers avoid the play-in, you're going to see. I
love the way that you move this goalpost because you did this just on the fly. I want everyone to know that you didn't plan this because you were talking about whether LeBron would be back in the MVP race if he had made that shot tonight against the Kings.
I just know that there are certain media entities that are always trying to restart the dialogue about whether LeBron is actually the MVP. And if the Lakers now, the goalposts have now moved, if the Lakers avoid the play-in, you're going to see LeBron getting some MVP votes.
Bro, it's so funny that we have to be these guys because we were the LeBron boys.
This is the heel turn for the LeBron boys right now.
Yeah, we were here singing I was here being like, yo, LeBron James needs to be on all first team all defense. Like his defense is on point.
You were saying LeBron should have won MVP over Giannis last year, which I think is ridiculous, but you were saying that.
I did say that. And I don't feel bad about that one because he led the league in assists and he was amazing.
Okay.
And anyway, but he is like so not good, should not even be considered to win the MVP. Like this, he's hurt for he missed more games in that stretch than he ever has in his career. Since March 20th, when he got hurt.
I will say, though, dialogue. Him and Embiid have missed, about the same number of games.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Embiid is, to me, not part of... Embiid is not part of my ballot. My hypothetical ballot does not include... has Jokic, and then I don't give a shit. Jokic and Chris Paul are 1-2, and then I really don't care. After that, like Embiid has been great, but Tobias Harris has also had a career year. Ben Simmons has been great when he has played. Seth Curry is really good. Like Danny Green has been good. They are a great team, and Embiid has been great. But Jokic was better than him, and also he was healthy the whole season. Like, and that is unfortunately part of the deal.
If you want Chris Paul, this is an Eric's gambling corner now. If you want Chris Paul, he's plus 20,000 right now.
He's definitely not going to win it at all.
Right.
Embiid's
still the number 2. Jokic is minus 115. Embiid is plus 535. And then Giannis, and then Steph, and then Harden, and then Anthony Davis is randomly on here. Anthony Davis randomly has better odds than Dame, LeBron, or Luka.
That is hilarious because Anthony Davis has been his first couple games back, he wasn't very good. And then he's been solid, but I don't even think he's had 30 yet. Ever since getting back.
He's plus 14,650. Dame, LeBron, and Luka are all plus 15,000.
That's crazy that Dame has gone from being the second favorite to being that.
Well, but maybe he should have thought of that before he lost to the Grizzlies twice in a row and Charlotte without any other good player.
I mean, that was before. I mean, Dame was hurt for the Charlotte game, but that he lost it before that because they had some bad losses at home.
Yeah,
I want to say I can't even remember them anymore. But they honestly haven't been very good. Actually, I'm going to look this up right now because I need to confirm this. But their road record is not that much worse than their home record, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it's better. They're 19-12 on the road this season and 16-16 at home.
Is this a dialogue?
I mean,
about how they need fans, and they are now the only team in the league because the governor said yesterday that she's extending the stay-at-home order or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it would be nice if they could have fans, but obviously more people in Oregon need to get the vaccine. I think is the more important problem that we're facing in Portland, in Oregon, is that not enough people are getting the vaccine. I do think
the Blazers play for you, and you're not here.
Yeah, God, the LeBron.
Let's just move on from that.
That was classic. But wow, that is really interesting. I also do love. Listen, Erik historically loves a team that wins on the road. I love a team that takes care of business and does their thing on the road. I think it's a sign of that they are a team that can do something in the playoffs. A lot of teams in the West have been good on the road. A lot of those teams that are in the mix all kind of have the same away record. Dallas, the Lakers, the Nuggets, they all kind of have 19 and 13 and 18 and 11. So Portland is kind of around, the same ballpark of the teams that they're in the mix with. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure it would be nice for them to have fans by the playoffs, but it also makes me, let's say they play Denver, or somebody else in the first round, it would make me. It makes me feel more confident that they could win a game on the road, and make a series interesting. Because last week I was like, they're gonna lose in 5.
In 5, if they get to the playoffs, if they don't lose
the
play.
Yeah. That
was where we were at, and now see Red Erik is all the way back. We're talking about beating Denver in the first round, upsetting. I guess they would play the Clippers in the second round.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's finals, baby.
This is the thing though that's crazy is like with this Lakers thing. Is obviously we talked about the play-in, but then the other aspect of it too is that Lakers Clippers 3-6 is also very much in play. So like, I mean, there's the Lakers suddenly really with tonight's loss because like no one expected this to happen and them to drop this game at home, and then even if they hadn't had LeBron. I don't think anyone was expecting them to lose this game at home to the Kings. And I mean, they have single-handedly like made the play-in and the 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's like, it's really, really interesting because it can end up in a lot of different ways. And I mean, Clippers, Lakers would honestly, in the first round, would honestly be pretty funny for the fake season to end that way. Like
it would. I mean,
like,
what's good? What's good would be the conference finals,
right? Exactly. It's like, what's good, Adam? Like this is what you got. Your greed got you your dream series in the first round when it's not going to make near as much money as you wanted it to.
And then you're going to get Phoenix and Milwaukee in the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you wanted LeBron versus KD.
Exactly.
You're getting a member of the Banana Boat squad.
And Giannis, which is great. And Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday, the star of the 2020 offseason, where they traded 1 million picks for him because they thought they were also getting Bogdanovich.
And they lost him because of tampering. They are going to love talking about that during the finals broadcast.
I am, by the way, I'm just I haven't thought about this in a while, but I'm just so happy Giannis signed the extension because otherwise, like, that would be a whole thing hanging over the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Imagine if they had, like, when they lost to the fucking Rockets and Kevin Porter Jr. scores 50 fucking points.
I saw a tweet yesterday that was one of the funniest tweets. I forget who said it, but it was like, James Harden has a successor in Houston, a guy who dropped 50 after getting fined $50,000 for going to a strip club in a pandemic. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Although, shout out to Sterling Brown.
Shout out to his family.
Hope he gets better.
Yeah.
That is an unfortunate situation that he got into.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Is there anything else?
Oh, yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
Hate to end this on a down note.
Yeah.
Gotta just give a quick shout out to the homie Jonathan Tjarks.
Yes. Shout out to Jonathan Tjarks.
Of The Ringer.
Yes.
He just announced a cancer diagnosis. I don't know any more than that, but, that's the homie.
Yeah.
I've hung out with Jonathan before. I obviously does very good work. He's got a family. Shout out to his family. And
absolutely.
We're thinking about him.
Absolutely. Thinking about him. Does great work. Love him. He's going to kick cancer's ass.
Absolutely. So we just wanted to mention Jonathan.
Yes,
just wanted to mention that.
Definitely. All right. Well, it was good to be back and talk some basketball, Sean.
Yes, this was good.
This was good. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It had been a while, but thank you all for your patience and excited for the home stretch here because the play-in is the 18th or whatever. So this is going to be coming out May 1st. So we are now in the final 2 weeks or whatever.
Patreon.com/BullsVBlazer. Shout out to the family.